Hey guys, I'm just sitting in my car before work, reading the word, and earlier in the day, the Lord wanted me to do a live. I don't have anything to hold my camera, so I'm just holding it with my hand. But as I was just about to close it up and head into work, I really felt the Lord continue to press in and tell you guys how this is done. And it's not that, believe me, it's not that I have it down pat. Like I don't even follow this 100% of the time, because the enemy works with me just like he works with anyone else. And as I was telling a young lady this morning, he worked with Jesus. Okay. He went into the wilderness and he went to fasting, and the enemy spoke to Jesus. So if the enemy is speaking to Jesus, he's going to speak to you. That doesn't mean you have to give his words power. So I'm often asked, like, Becky, how do you cast down these thoughts? I know that I have to cast down the thoughts that the enemy brings in. And I know that the enemy gets power when we let the seed of thought plant. And it's science too, because Carolyn Leaf is a great person to listen to on YouTube about how thoughts are planted, and how, hey, Heidi girl, and hey, Kathy, hey, Michael. I didn't want to say hi to somebody and not the other side to look. Anyways, I don't want to be late for work, but the Lord has prompted me to just tell you how. And let me tell you, this is how, right here. This is how you do it. Because if you have the word in you, and I was telling a young lady this morning as I was talking to her, it was like, how do you cast these thoughts down? How do you always, how do you cast the thoughts down? You're supposed to cast them down, not only cast them down. You cast them down and you line them up with the word of God, because casting them down, they can come right back, right? You have to line it up with truth. You have to line it up with truth. That's what Jesus did. When the enemy said something like, okay, well, turn these rocks into bread. Well, man cannot live on bread alone. So what Jesus was doing in the wilderness was he was telling Satan, not only is that a lie, but let me tell you the truth about this. That I don't need bread right now, that I am living on the word of God. And he was preparing himself during that fast to go and do what God has called him to do and be the Messiah and show who he really, really was, right? He was going to move after that fast in power and authority. And so when the enemy comes, I'm just telling you guys, when the enemy comes and he is planting those thoughts, those seeds of discord according to the word, he is sending thoughts that are opposite of the word of God. And he can make them look like they're the word of God sometimes. So you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared in season and out of season. You have to know the word of God. It's got to be in you. It's got to be in you. So I listen to music all day. I listen to the word when I go to sleep. I mean, I'm not telling you got to be like me, because there ain't nobody like me, period. But you have to get in the word. You have to. You can't just hear the word at church. You can't just hear a sermon once a week. You can't hear a sermon once every 2 days. You have got to get in the word for yourself. You have to dig in, and you have to find out what the Father has for you. Because he has all kinds of good stuff. He has all kinds of promises. And he's not a man that he should lie. So he can be trusted. He can be trusted. You can trust what he says. If he says he's going to guard your heart and mind, he's going to guard your heart and mind. If he says, I bring you this peace, my peace I leave you, guess what? He wants you to pick it up. He wants you to pick that peace up, because he's a perfect gentleman. He's not going to shove peace down your throat. You have to accept it. You have to say, okay, no matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is going on in my own head or in my own life, I choose to pick up peace. I choose to focus on the joy that is uncircumstantial. Okay, guys, I could go on forever, but the Lord just wants me to tell you, this is how you cast down the thoughts. You take that thought and you say, wait a minute, that is not from the Father. That is not what God said. And then you take that thought and you throw it away and you say, okay, this is what God said. So you take the thought, you throw it down, and you line it up with the word of God. Because if not, what happens then is you start building this little story in your head. And all of a sudden, you've gone down this road that may never even happen. So you've now planted this whole tree. It's science too. Listen to Carolyn Leaf. I'm telling you, when you let a thought be planted, that seed grows into a whole tree. And now all of a sudden you can't focus. You can't think about things that are lovely because you've let this whole tree. Now God can pull that whole root up he's a God all by himself. He can do all that. But what I'm saying is, don't let it even take root. Because once it takes root, now we've gone on this whole, oh my goodness, blah, 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 blah. And we've built this whole like sad story. And it's not even what God has for us. Okay, guys? I love you. I hope you have a great day. I hope I'm not late. I got to be in at 12. Love y'all. Bye.